Hello everyone, hope you're all having a nice day. And in this one, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I basically just wanted to try and predict what Mega Victreebel is going to be doing in the Pokemon TCG. This is like my first time trying to predict what Pokemon will be like in the TCG when they finally get released. However, I have made two correct predictions in the past, so I guess I'm a bit of a prophet, if you will. I was able to successfully predict what Reverse Energy will do, and I was able to predict that Area Zero would be a Skyfield Stadium, which I thought was really cool. But aside from that, really, honestly, I've never predicted anything else right, and I've also had like terrible meta predictions. So take what you will with a grain of salt. But I did want to take a look at Mega Victreebel today. So the first thing I'd like to do though is take a look at some older Victreebel cards and basically see what we can learn from them. Like because Pokemon do sometimes look back at old cards and take attacks or even abilities from them and then update them for like a Roblox version of said card. And Victreebel, as far as I'm aware, has actually never had a Roblox card. So it's new territory for Victreebel, which is great, of course, because I love this Pokemon. So the very first one from Furious Fists had the ability Wafting Scent. So once during your turn, you can discard a Grass Energy from this Pokemon, and if you do, your opponent's active Pokemon is now confused and poisoned. Now, I nearly went with this ability, but due to the nature of Mega Victreebel just like spewing acid all over the place, I don't think they'll go with Wafting Scent, but it is interesting that in that like promotional video that they did for Mega Victreebel, they did mention it had like a very good fragrance in the air for some reason. So I do kind of think that wafting scent is an interesting idea. I just don't think it'll be implemented in this way. It might have something to do with poison and confusion, but I don't think they'll use this kind of wording. But yeah, Spiral Drain is another attack they could copy, but since Mega Venusaur also heals damage from itself, I don't think we'll see like a Solar Beam or Spiral Drain style attack. We could do, but I don't think we will do for Mega Victreebel. Also, this next one, which was a really fun deck actually back in the day when like it wasn't a great deck or anything, but it was still a fun budget like bad deck Friday style deck. This one from Guardians Rising with the attack Pollen Hazard and Stick and Absorb. Pollen Hazard is quite a classic move that we see a lot in the TCG. 20 damage and inflicts burn, confusion, and poison. Kind of cool for just a single energy. To be honest, I don't think they'll go this route just because we've seen so much of it lately. However, Pokemon do like to reprint the same attacks over and over again. So like we could see Pollen Hazard. I just don't rate the chances of us getting another like hazardous reaction attack like all the same. Like I do think we will get something to do with poison, but it won't involve like burning and confusion. Also, Stick and Absorb for a grass and two colors does 80 damage and heal 20, and then your defending Pokemon can't retreat. Again, they could do something with Retreat Lock, but I don't think they will. I know that Victreebel is like modeled off of Venus Flytrap, so Retreat Lock isn't like out of character or anything. But personally, I think Mega Victreebel is all about bouncing around, being a bit more mobile, really, and then like landing a massive one hit KO with its poison. So I don't think Stick and Absorb is really appropriate for Mega Victreebel. Then we also have the ability Fragrance Trap on this new one. Once your turn, you may flip a coin, and if heads, switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon with their active Pokemon. A pretty interesting ability, but again, I don't really see it happening, especially not after they announced that Boss's Orders is getting a reprint. Now, if Boss's Orders had been rotating, then this kind of ability I think would be more on the cards because we'll likely see more abilities to do with Gusting, and it would give you a reason to actually play Mega Victreebel in your grass deck. But I think overall they're not going to go with something like this, just because Boss's Orders is still sticking around. We've got plenty of Gust options as well. And then Corrosive Acid does 80 damage, and you get to flip a coin and inflict Burn. Again, I don't think they'll go with Burn. I think they'll just stick with Poison. And then the three most recent Victreebels, because there is only 6 in the TCG, but like Superior only has like 3 cards anyway, so still better than Superior. But yeah, Victreebel with Reactive Poison and Gastro Acid, again, reacting if they have a special condition. I think this is a bit more likely, like if they're already poisoned, confused, or burned, then you'll do a lot more damage. I think that kind of makes sense. And then Gastro Acid does 90 damage, and you get to switch off abilities. I think they could go with this actually, because we're yet to see like proper ability lock, really. I don't feel we've seen anything that's that crazy. Like that Gastrodon that shut off stage 2 abilities has seen like 0 play whatsoever, and that can shut off like Charizard and Pidgeot. So we need something that's a bit more, maybe a bit more effective, or it has to be built in with a really like decent attack, basically. So it's either got to affect loads of things, or it's got to be paired up with a really good attack. So yeah, I think Gastro Acid is a decent example of where Victreebel could go. Then we also have Panic Vine, which is, again, Retreat Lock and Confusion. I don't think they'll go with Confusion. I think they'll just stick with Poison. And then Solar Beam just does a flat 120. Very boring. The Sword and Shield era, honestly, was so boring for like card design mostly. But like Solar Beam, bad example of an attack, but still, one grass, two colors, 120 damage. I think this attack in the main video game series usually like heals damage as well. But yeah, or like charges up grass energy. But still, not a very good attack, and I would be very disappointed if Victreebel got like a flat 250 damage for 3 energy or something. That would just be boring. And then we have this new Victreebel, the most recent one from the set 151, that has 2 attacks, Spit Up and Slow Acting Acid. Spit Up for 1 grass does 50, and then Slow Acting Acid is 120. And at the end of your opponent's next turn, put 12 damage counters on the defending Pokemon. I really like these attacks. I think they're interesting, but of course your opponent can just switch out or retreat, and then the effect is removed. So hopefully Mega Victreebel gets a better move than that, just because it's fun and everything, but your opponent can quite easily get out of it. So I would worry that Mega Victreebel could be seriously hampered by that. So yeah, a bit of a shame really. Also got a high retreat cost. These last 2 Victreebels do have a very high retreat cost. So I think the final verdict is that a somewhat tanky yet slow plan. So it's simultaneously tanky yet slow, like 140, 150 HP on those most recent Victreebels, but still pretty tanky. Can also bounce around as they've described in the videos. So like Mega Victreebel can like hop around with its acid belly, which is kind of weird. But yeah, big focus on acid and spewing that everywhere seems to be the big theme with Mega Victreebel. So likely reflected in the poison special condition. Like, I don't think they'll go with burn and confusion. They could go with burn and confusion. They could go with like confusion and poison, which would make sense, but I don't think they'll use burn personally. I just don't see it happening. I guess you could say like, oh yeah, acid is burning, therefore they'll use burn, but like I think they'll just stick with poison for Mega Victreebel and save like burn for a different Mega Pokemon and save like confusion for again another Mega Pokemon. What those Pokemon would be, I'm not sure. I've yet to look at the leak again that leaked all the Mega Evolution Pokemon, because there was like a major leak online. I don't know if you guys have seen it, where someone just basically leaked every single Mega that's going to appear in Legends ZA, and Mega Victreebel was leaked. So yeah, we'll have to see what they look like. But yeah, as for the actual card itself, my prediction it'll be around the like 350 HP mark. I would say. I don't think it'll be 360, just because Mega Victreebel is tanky, but it is like a very spongy kind of sloppy air balloon Pokemon. Like it is a very bouncy. Like it could be punctured basically. Like you could take a pin to this thing and it would pop. So I don't think it's going to be super HP, super tanky, but I don't think it's going to be nothing either, because it is still quite big. So I think 350 is kind of reasonable. Also not listed here, but a weakness to fire and a retreat cost of 2, I think, overall. But yeah, I've gone with the ability Gastro Acid, as seen earlier, as an attack. So each player's poison Pokemon have no abilities except for Gastro Acid, and their attacks cost 1 colorless more. I don't think the attack effect is necessarily needed. This could also be replaced by like Retreat Lock a bit. That could be a better option. But I just thought this was extra disruptive and maybe would make Mega Victreebel a bit more playable. But then the attack of Venoshock for 2 grass energy does 200 damage. And before doing damage, if your opponent's active Pokemon is already poisoned, then this attack does 270 more damage. Oh, sorry, 70 more damage. 270 more damage would be kind of broken. But yeah, 70 more damage, so 270, and then the poison tick would take you to 280. And then after doing any damage, if it was not before, your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned. So you do poison no matter what, so you always get the ability working. So I think that's a fun attack. The reason why I made it 2 grass, by the way, not just like grass colorless, is because it would give you less synergy with things like Crispin and Monkey Dory, because I think Monkey Dory could be pretty disgusting with some megas, and I think they're quite wise so far in making a lot of the mega attacks like very much focused around the energy that they need. Does that make sense? Like they're all like 2 fire or 2 dark or like 2 grass and 2 colors. They're all quite awkward to use basically. It's not as if you can just crisp into this thing and then also use Monkey Dory. So I think 2 grass is a fair price. They could also go like Grass Psychic if they wanted to be spicy, but I don't think they'll do that outside of Dragon types. But yeah, that's what I went with in the end. Venoshock, honestly, it does a lot of damage, but your opponent has to already be poisoned for you to actually get the 270. So it is a 1-hit KO, but you need something like Brute Bonnet on the bench, for example. Or, tank a hit, use Venoshock, use Wally or something. And then, you could do Venoshock for the proper 280. But yeah, that's kind of what I went with Mega Victreebel. So yeah, let me know what you think down below. Do you think we'll see a Mega Victreebel card revealed sooner rather than later? I hope it's soon. I hope we do get one in Phantasmal Flames, but you know, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed, right? It's in there. But yeah, let me know what you think down below. Is there any other Pokemon you'd like to see released soon? I personally would love to see another Vileplume card. This card is not just here because I was too lazy to change it from the expanded video. Definitely not. But yeah, I do hope we see another Vileplume as well. I just think another Vileplume with irritating pollen would just be a bit too much. Like, we could definitely do without irritating pollen. Like, in all honesty, if they really wanted to make an annoying Victreebel card, they could just say, oh yeah, each player can't play any items and it's a stage 2. Like, that would just be so annoying for the game right now. But yeah, thank you for watching. Let me know what you think down below. What do you think of Mega Victreebel? And yeah, thank you for watching.